Hey there, Book Deck here. Today is my entire smartphone collection as of June 1st, 2026. I have 54 smartphones, but expect the first one to be blurry like almost all the time due to focusing on my camera. But I'm going to be sat over here for the second part and onwards. Anyway, let's go. Here's my Motorola click on T-Mobile. This one works, but the screen doesn't. Here's my Samsung Galaxy Spike on TMN. It's my only European phone. This one works with battery issues. It runs Android 2.1, that's update 1. Here's my Samsung Galaxy 5 on T. This one works, but it's picky about charging. It's running Android 2.2. Also, if you hear noise, it's because my grandma, my mom, and my dad are going to talk about every moment, so just expect that. Here's my iPhone 4S. This one probably doesn't work. Here's my Motorola Spice Key on Clevo. This one works on Android 2.3.3, however, using GPS and Wi-Fi kill the battery. Here's my Sony Ericsson Live Walkman. This one only works on the charger, which I haven't tested in a while, mainly because the chargers that I use nowadays, the good USB charger, doesn't support this type of port. Also, it is locked with a lock type graphite code pattern. Here's my Sony Ericsson Xperia Mini Pro 2. This one works, but the screen doesn't. Here's my LG Optimus L3. This one doesn't work. Here's my Motorola Destino on Nextel. This one surprisingly works on Android 2.1, that's update 1. Here's my Samsung Galaxy Pocket Plus Duos on T. This one works on Android 4.0. Ice cream sandwich. Here's my Samsung Galaxy Young Plus Duals TV. This one works, both no battery and the screen is broken. Here are two Miele N400s. Both of them probably don't work. One of them came with a battery, a multi-laser one, that didn't fit with the phone. Here's my Motorola Moto G first generation. This one used to work, but it doesn't anymore. Here's my Samsung Galaxy Fame. This one's already on, but I'm going to show that for the unlocking section. Wait, because for me to turn it on, I have to use a stick. Since there is no power button cover for this phone. Here's my Samsung Galaxy Stud Trios. This one doesn't work. Here's my Samsung Galaxy Win. This was my extremely old phone, my very first phone, from 2019 to 2022 before I moved on to the Moto E7. This one worked, but then it now just only shows signs of life, which is sad, considering that this was my childhood memories. Also had all the games on it. Here's my CCE Motion Plus SC452 TV. This one doesn't turn on, obviously, according to the message. Here's my LG L20. This one works, but I also have to use a stick to turn it on. Here's my LG Prime Plus HD TV. This one runs Android 4.1.2. This one runs Android 4.1.2 as well. This one runs Android 4.4.4, which is my only phone to do that, actually. This one runs Android 4.4.2, and this one most likely runs Android 6.0.1. This one's battery problems was when it was recognizing the non-genuine battery. That was a battery that I got in 2023 that coincidentally fitted with this phone. So yeah. Here's my Microsoft Lumia 535. This is actually the very first Microsoft phone from after Microsoft invaded Nokia and Lumia. Yeah. This one works, but has some I mean, this one. This one works for some battery issues. Here's my Nokia Lumia 930. This one works by loops. Here's my Motorola Moto E 2nd generation 3G. There's also a 4G DTV variant that I don't have yet. This one works perfectly fine on Android 5.0.1. I mean 5.1. Keep mispronouncing the Android number for that. Here's my Yixtel G929. This one works, but the touchscreen doesn't work. Here's my LG K8 2016. It warms up on the charger, but does not work. Here's my Samsung Galaxy J1 Mini on Clovo. This one works, but sometimes ghost touches. Here's my Samsung Galaxy J5 Prime. This one works, but has a completely broken screen, and probably the touchscreen doesn't work because of this. Here's my Asus Zenfone for a selfie, as I found out. This one works, but fails to turn on. Here's my Motorola Moto G5 Latam. This one specifically untested. Yeah, this one just died. But the battery's not fully dead. Here's my Multilaser MS45S. This one has no power button or volume button, so I can't test it. Oh god. Sorry, I just hit my hand into the camera. Here's my Samsung Galaxy G4. This one has no screen. The screen flied a while ago. Remember that? Feels at the end of 2025. Which is exactly the year where I got this phone, actually. This one's untested and probably will be. Probably doesn't work. Here's my Motorola Moto 5 PlayGo. This one charges but can't turn on due to a system failure due to the amount of times that I broke it. No, my grandma. And possibly part of me too. Okay. This one ran Android 8.1 Go. But had an update that asked us to get Android 9 Go, and I just completely ignored it. Here's my Motorola Moto G6 Plus. This one works, but it loops after you turn it off. Here's my Motorola One. This is my grandma's old phone from 2018 to 2022 before she moved on to a Moto E20. And this is my dad's old phone from 2018 to 2023 before moving on to a Moto D73. This one only works on a charger and has a broken display and just loops. It runs Android 10. Here's my Multilaser MS50G. This one's updated, by the way. This one only shows a red line to charge, but because I'm impatient, I just left it, which was not a good idea. Here's my Samsung Galaxy J4 Plus. This one works perfectly fine, but is quite laggy, and sometimes when running games, it can be especially so laggy that it may drain the battery and also heats up due to having a Snapdragon chipset. All sorts of that stuff. But also, this is one of two One UI phones that work on the collection, and the only One UI phone that works completely fine on the collection. The other being the Galaxy 80, which I'm going to mention in a bit. This one runs Android 9 with One UI 1, probably updated. Here's my Samsung Galaxy J8. This one only works on the charger. Here's my Xiaomi Redmi 5. This one's Mi account locked. Here's my Xiaomi Redmi 6A. This one only shows a light in the charging. Which, sorry, I just made some office drift. Sorry. Here are two LG K9 TVs. This one worked, but its battery eventually became bloated, and now it's marking batteries as non-genuine since I don't have the genuine battery for it anymore since I threw it out. And this one only works on a charger. Here's my Motorola Moto G7 Plus. This is my mom's old phone from 2019 to 2023. She got a Moto G73. This one has the same issue as the one. It works on a charger but has a broken display and just loops. Here's my Multilaser E-Lite. This one only works on a charger. This one runs Android 10. This was also updated. This one runs Android 8. Here's what I was talking about. Here's my Samsung Galaxy A80. This one is the only phone in my collection to have a gimmick that has a rotating camera, as everyone may know. But coincidentally, mine works, but the screen doesn't. Which is a shame considering the display players are like expensive and stuff, as they said in the flea market. Well, I got that. Here's my LG K22 Plus. This one only works on a charger, but I think it does work, just extremely broken display. Here's my Motorola Moto 7. This is my main phone from 2022 to 2025 before I switched to a Moto G15. This one works while burning at the bottom. Here's my Motorola Moto 7 Plus. This one works, but only this side of the display works, and it's also very thin. Here's my TCL Semco 3C Plus. This one's untested. Probably doesn't work. Here's my Motorola Moto 20. Oh, it's already on. No. This one, coincidentally, this one works perfectly fine. It's my backup phone, basically. I'll talk about the main phone I use in a bit. This one runs Android 10, and this one runs Android 11 Go Edition. Here's my Redvolt L. This one works on a charger, and when you place it on the charger, it just automatically shuts down. This one runs Android 11 Go Edition as well. Here's my Samsung Galaxy Z3. It only works on a charger. Here's my Samsung Galaxy Z3 Core. This one only works on a charger. First off, when I got this phone, it did turn on, but then it froze. And to wait a bit, then I plugged the charger in, and now it only works on a charger. But the charging screen just completely freezes for like a few minutes before shutting down. Here's my TCL 201. This one's working. This one works, and it's my only smartphone in the collection with a QVGA display. Which I don't know why that. A user screen resolution 480 by 962. But the same SD card slots as the LG K9 TV, which are practically the cheapest SD card slots known to man that cannot fit a single SD card whatsoever. This one runs Android 11 Go Edition. And finally, to end off, here's my Motorola Moto G35. This one's water damaged. This one is also the newest phone in my collection, being released all the way back in 2024. Anyways, let's unlock the devices. Now, I'm gonna have to block that out because it's also the pattern to my main phone. This one's also the pattern to my main phone. It's also my grandma's pattern, by the way. Sorry. I just have to close that since that's personal bank stuff. Okay. Why'd I keep locking this E20? I just wanna... Yeah. Okay, but here's one more thing before ending. You won't see my personal devices, so you won't see my main phone, since I'm recording on that right now. It's my camera. This phone was practically it's a Moto G15. It's a 256GB variant in gravity gray, and it has a 50-megapixel camera with a 5-megapixel ultra wide. It runs Android 15, but with no software updates to any other Android version. However, I am switching to a Moto G67 in Christmas 2027, so just stay tuned for that. Anyway, thanks for watching. I like this video today, and peace.